I feel like we need theme music. Perhaps we could work on that next time. Good evening. Did it zoom out?
Yes.
Okay. We are not technologically advanced people here at the Shipley House, but we try. We do try. Thank you for joining me tonight. I know that Wednesday nights would have ended at church. We would not have continued, but we're stuck at home, and so I'm going to continue doing Wednesday nights because we all need some extra Bible in our life, don't we? All right, so for the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about kids who made an impact in the Bible. And the Bible's full of mostly grown-up people, adults, and the stories about them. But there are some kids who made the Bible. They were not only in the Bible, they were a big deal in the Bible. So the first one we're going to talk about tonight is Miriam. So I don't know if any of you know who Miriam is. Perhaps you could look at this picture. And maybe, does it jog your memory? Any idea who that might be? Look at we see a baby. You might know who the baby is. The baby is who, Thomas?
Moses.
It is Moses. All right, look at the little girl beside the baby. That would be Miriam. Now, the older lady with the thing in her hair and the pretty braids, who's picking up Moses. Anybody know who that would be? That's a tricky one. That would be the Pharaoh's daughter. Now, the two women on either side of the Pharaoh's daughter, one's got a fan, maybe she's fanning her, and the other one is lifting the lid off the basket. Those would be her servants. Pharaoh's daughter would have had servants because she'd be like a princess. So Miriam is Moses' sister. Miriam was the sister to Moses and Aaron in the Bible. Now, what we do know is that she was the daughter of Amram and Jochebed. I'm going to hope that I'm saying those correctly. And so there were three of them: Miriam, Moses, and Aaron. Miriam was actually the oldest of the three. And let's see, she's about 5. Her brother Aaron was about 3 when Moses was born. Now, during the time when Moses was born, there was a decree. And you couldn't have a little baby boy. All little baby boys were gotten to get rid of. So his mother, of course, loved him. And she protected him for about 3 months. That's about as long as she could hide him. And then she decided on a different plan. So I'm going to read it to you. I think you probably know this story from Sunday school. But I thought I'd read it to you, kind of refresh your memory. Baby in the basket. Many years passed. A new Pharaoh ruled over Egypt. He did not know about the good things Joseph, that would be Joseph from the Joseph and the goat, that Joseph and the Mean Brothers. By now, there were many people in Jacob's family. They were called Israelites. Pharaoh did not like the Israelites. He made them work hard. One day, Pharaoh decided to get rid of all the Israelite baby boys. A woman named Jochebed had a baby boy. She wanted to save him, so she gently laid her baby inside a basket and placed him in the river. The baby started to cry. Pharaoh's daughter saw the basket and opened it. She gently picked up the baby and hugged him. "I want to keep you," the princess whispered. She named him Moses because she pulled him out of the water. Miriam, the baby's big sister, had been watching nearby. She said to the princess, "I know a woman who can help you take care of the baby." So Miriam ran to get her mother. Jochebed was so happy. When Moses was a young boy, Jochebed returned him to the princess, and he grew up in the palace. Now, we're going to talk about Miriam, but I want you to think about for something. Where was Moses found? Where did the princess find him? In the water. It was actually the Nile River. Found him in the water. What other big water event would happen in Moses' life? So a huge event happened, and he was saved by the princess in the water. What other huge thing would happen with water in Moses? Think of the Red Sea. What did he do? He divided the sea. I like that the water theme is there, and that 2 really big stories happened with him. Now, Miriam, as we said, would have been about 5 years old when he was put in there. So think about being 5. Maybe you've got a younger brother or sister who's about that age, or maybe you can think back to when you were about that age. You would have been kindergarten, maybe. So if you're in kindergarten, you've been about that old.
When I was little, I was in preschool.
Maybe a little older than preschool, somewhere around in there. Okay, so she's watching her mom put the baby in the river, and she is watching along the side as all of this is happening. And I think, I wonder what she was thinking. She's thinking, well, there goes my baby brother. She had to have known that it was the best thing for him. How many of you are the oldest sibling? A sibling is a brother or sister. How many of you are the oldest in your family? Raise your hand. Put your hand down. You're not.
No.
How many of you are the youngest child in your family? Raise your hand. How many of you are somewhere in the middle? You're somewhere in the middle. Maybe you're the second or third child. Somewhere in the middle.
I'm in the middle.
Andrew, for example, would be a middle child. Thomas, for example, would be a middle child. Caroline would be a middle child. We're getting it? Okay. So here she is, the oldest child, watching the youngest child be sent away. And I wonder, it might have been some confusion. She might have worried about him. Now, the part I like about this is not only is she little, and she's a kid, she's a girl. We've talked about this before. In the Bible, girls are they're not talked about very much. They aren't the lead in stories. There are a couple that there are. So what's really neat about this is Miriam is considered a prophetess. That means she is a female prophet. She is one of 7 prophets in the Bible who are girls, women. And I think that says something about her. She's a very strong character. So not only was she watching, she walks towards the princess, the Pharaoh's daughter, and says, oh, look at the baby. Hey, I can help you find somebody to take care of him. Would you do that? Would you walk up? Now, this would be royalties. It'd be like walking up to Prince William or the Duchess, Kate. So walking up to him and say, oh, I can help you find somebody. Do you think you'd be able to do that? I mean, that's pretty brave. Not only was she interfering being small, it's not easy to do something big when you're small, not to talk to someone big, to say, hey, I can help. Do you like to help? A lot of you guys are pretty good helpers. So she went and she talked to a royal person. So that's an even bigger deal. She said, I can help you. And she was very smart for 5 years old. A lot of you guys are also really smart. You teach me things all the time. You're younger than I am, and I think sometimes I've got my handle on things, and you blow my mind every time. You're like, oh my goodness, yes, you guys did know that. So she says, hey, I can help. And she goes and gets her mom. She gets her mother. Now, the princess does not know that is Moses' mother. She just says, okay. She goes and gets her mom, and her mom helps take care of baby Moses for as long as she can before she hands him back over to the princess. So mom was so sad that she was letting her boy go. She knew it was the best thing for him. And in the end, she's kind of rewarded by getting to keep him, stay near him, help take care of him, hold him, see him. And I think that's a wonderful thing that Miriam was able to help happen. I love that. Now, as Miriam gets older, she and her brother Moses and her brother Aaron stay together. All 3 of them are kind of like the 3 musketeers sometimes in the Bible. She actually wanders the desert with her brothers and the other Israelites. Do you remember when they wandered the desert? For how long? Big number. 40 years. They wandered the desert for 40 years. She got to witness when Moses, her brother, parted the sea. She was there for that. Do you think that Miriam might have known back when she was 5 and Moses was 3 months old? Do you think she might have known how important he was going to be to the world? Not just to her and not just to her mom, but how important he would be to God, to her people, to her family, her friends and her neighbors. I wonder sometimes the people in the Bible, it's foretold, maybe an angel will come to them or a dream will come to them, but I wonder if she just knew. I wonder if she knew how important he would turn out to be. And I bet she had to be very proud. How many of you love your brothers and sisters? Raise your hand because you love your brothers and sisters. How many of you like your brothers and sisters? Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of hands being raised in this room.
Well, I raised my hand.
You like your brother?
Yep.
Yeah, Tobias likes his brother and his sister very much. It's okay to not like our siblings all the time. And I think right now we're stuck at home and there's probably not a whole lot of liking going on. It's a lot of arguing and fighting and door slamming. You have that at your house, or is it just my house? Yeah, I'm thinking it's probably at your house too. So it's not always and I'm thinking that Miriam probably didn't always like Moses, but she always loved him. And I think she had been very, very proud of him. Moses was called by God to do great things. And I think Miriam had been very, very proud of him. Now, once they got through the desert, Miriam made another appearance in the Bible, a big one. And she led the women in singing and dancing God's praises. When the Red Sea parted and it fell over the bad guys, she led them in dancing and praising God. And there's actually a song in the Bible. It's very pretty though. It's called Moses and Miriam song, and it's a song that praises God for help staying with them and never leaving them and always being with them. So a lot of times when you talk about Miriam, you might think of her with a tambourine in her hand. If that's the story that you're remembering, that is in fact the same person who saved her brother. She has a tambourine and she is singing God's praises. Right now, the siblings are not getting along quite so well in the Shipley household. That might be happening at your house as well. Okay. Now, not only did Miriam lead the women in singing and dancing, and again, women were not as much of praised in the Bible. And back in that time, it was not just the Bible, it was back in that time. But she also taught the women the Torah. Now, the Torah is the Jewish, what we know as the Bible. It's their book, God's book. And she would teach them. So maybe she was teaching them to read it, or maybe teaching them to read in general. There wasn't schools like we have now, which I realize it's kind of silly because you don't have school right now. You got online school. They didn't have online school either. There's no internet, and there was no directions, Google Maps to find their way across the desert either. So she would have taught the women, because men would not teach women. Women were to cook and take care of children. So she led them in two different ways there. I think that is one of what makes her a very brave and a very powerful woman character in the Bible. So, this is what I was going to read you. I was going to show you in this Bible the Red Sea. So let me refresh your memory here. God led the people out of Egypt by a pillar of cloud in the daytime. At night he led them in a pillar of fire. He led them to the edge of the sea. Now the king of Egypt sent his army over after the Israelites. God's people were scared. The army was chasing them, but they could not get away because the sea was in front of them. Moses says, "Do not be afraid. God will take care of us." God did take care of them. That night, God sent a strong wind to push the sea back. Then God's people could walk across the seabed. On both sides of them, the sea was pushed back. They walked across on dry ground. The army tried to follow them. They tried to cross the sea too. But God made the water pour back over the seabed. The sea covered the whole army. God saved his people. They all sang a song of thanks to God. So a lot of times when you see Miriam, maybe referenced in Sunday school or in other things, you'll see a tambourine in her hand. And she is singing songs of praise. She loved God as much as her brother loved God, and she was rejoicing. But I wanted to tell you about that. Now, Miriam was not only a strong woman; she was a strong sister. She saved him. She stood up for him. She was proud of him, and she goes on to stand by Moses several more times in the Bible that you could read on if you would like to. You can read on about the rest of her life if you would like to. But I thought what might be fun this evening is to talk about some other siblings, because it's not easy to be a sibling as a brother or sister. So I thought it might be fun to have a little pop quiz. So let's see if we can name these siblings. Okay, so here we have a character from a book and from a PBS show. Does anybody know who that is? Tobias, know who that is? That is D.W. Reed. She is the sister of... Anybody?
Reading.
Arthur. Anybody know who Arthur is? We love Arthur here at the Shipley house. Arthur Reed. All right. Anybody get that one? Give yourself 100 points. Okay. Next. Oh, who would that be? Thomas.
That is Huey Duck from DuckTales.
Huey Duck from DuckTales. And who would his siblings be? Anybody?
Dewey.
Is that one Dewey?
No, that is Louie.
That one's Louie. And bonus points if you got Dewey. Dewey's the one in the blue, apparently. Are you keeping this straight at home? All right, if you got those right, give yourself another 200 points. All right, let's see about the next one. Now, Gracie doesn't think any of you will know this one. I love this character.
Bears.
He is a turtle. Who is that, Tobias?
Franklin.
Franklin. Franklin is a big brother to... Anybody? Thomas helped me put this together, so that's kind of cheating. Who is it, Thomas?
Harriet.
Harriet, his little sister, Harriet. And he is so loving to her, and he takes care of her. And they have their issues sometimes. But he is a super duper good big brother. All right. If you got that one, you get 500 points because some people in this family thinks that no one would know who they are. So you get bonus points for that one. All right, let's see the next one. This is one of my favoriteest characters ever. And if you know Miss Barbara at all, you know how much she loves the Berenstain Bears. And this is who? Sister Bear. And she is sister to Brother Bear. And they have all sorts of adventures. Now, if you were at home and you know the third bear, I'm going to let you have another extra 300 points. Does anybody know who the third bear is? She came along pretty far in the series, long after I'd grown up, because I don't think she was there when I was in. Does anybody know? Anybody know? I bet Jolie knows. Honey Bear. I don't have a picture of her because it just now occurred to Honey Bear. Yeah. So if you knew that there was another Berenstain Bear sibling, give yourself 300 points. All right, next. Oh. Anybody have any idea who that one is? Thomas.
I believe that is Chip.
That one's Dale. I think. I'm pretty sure that one's Dale.
Okay.
Pretty sure the all right, so so Dale is brother to Chip. Chip is the one with all the ideas, and Dale's kind of the silly one, isn't he? So give yourself some points for that one.
And I got right one, Chip.
Yeah. Alrighty, our next siblings. Oh, I'm not very good at this one, so I'm hoping I say it right. Who is this one? Thomas, go ahead.
Ron Weasley.
Ron Weasley, and he is a twin brother.
No.
He is a big brother too.
Yes.
He is a big brother too. Anybody? I bet Rachel might know. Not Rachel. Rebecca might know. Let's see. Jenny. So they're siblings. So give yourself some points. Let's say 300 points for that one because I have no idea who the people are. Okay, but you probably do at home. All right, next siblings. Oh, come on. We all know who this one is. Who is that? Elsa. That is Elsa. Who is Elsa's sister? Anna. And Anna's the little sister and Elsa's the big sister. All right. You guys probably knew that one, so 100 points for that one. All right, next. Oh, does anybody know who this one is? He is a superhero boy. And his name is what, Thomas? Dash. Incredible. I guess their last name is Incredible. So who are Dash? Dash is a middle child, so Thomas can relate very well to him. Dash's siblings are Violet.
Yes.
Oh, I get points for that. Violet and
Jack.
Did you get that one? 200 points if you got that one. Miss Barbara just throwing out points everywhere. All right, let's go for our next one. Ooh, who knows this one?
Ferb.
This one is Ferb, and Ferb is the brother to who? Phineas. Now, if you know the third sibling, you get bonus points. Is she on there? No, she didn't put her. Candace. Candace is the third sibling, who I thought I'd gotten a picture, but apparently didn't. Okay, so next. Oh, who is this person? He's not very young. He's kind of an old person. Older. It's Thor. Gracie might be a little excited about Thor. And Thor is the brother to... Anyone?
Loki!
Oh, my. Loki. Okay. It's exciting time here in the Shipley household. All right, let's go. Let's go to the next sibling. Oh, we got some mean siblings here. Pretty sure this one is Drizella. Drizella is the sister of... Anybody? Anastasia. Anastasia. Those were hard ones. I want 300 points if you got those right. Now, they are the stepsisters to whom? Whom are they stepsisters to? Cinderella. All right. Oh, here we go. I think this is our last sibling pair. This is, most of you probably know who this is. Look at her hair. Look at the dress. Who are we talking about here?
Princess Leia.
Princess Leia. And Princess Leia is a twin sister of Luke.
Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker with his stick, light glowy stick there. Alrighty. So that concludes our siblings pop quiz. Did anybody get any good ones? Did you get a lot of points?
We were gonna add 3 more.
Did you? Did you get some? Did you get some good points?
0 points.
You got lots of points. So tonight we were talking about Miriam and what a great big sister she was, and I hope that if you have siblings at home that you are going to try your best to be a great sibling today and the rest of the week. And maybe you could be a great kid. That would be awesome too. Now, if you are a crafter, I know several of you are crafters. I saw this idea and I thought it was so super, super cute. It's Moses in a basket with the weeds. So what I have here is a cupcake liner, a picture of the baby, which I will put in the comment section that your parent can, or you can just draw a baby if you want to. I think that would be just fine too. You could draw a baby on a piece of construction paper and put it in. And then I took some green paper and put it underneath and then folded them up so that they stuck up and put it on some blue paper. And there is my Moses in the basket. I thought that was just super cute. So if you enjoy crafting, here's a little craft idea for you to remember that baby Moses' sister was who? Miriam, and there were 3 of them. So who was the other sibling? Miriam, Moses, and Aaron. Aaron was the middle child. Miriam was the big sister, and Moses was the baby. Be good siblings to each other. Be good children to your parents. Wash your hands and behave. And I will see you on Sunday.